Hi everybody, welcome to today's video and welcome to my kitchen. Do you know anyone that doesn't like tomatoes, doesn't like the taste? Do you not like tomatoes? I don't. I can't stand tomatoes. So I have perfected a dish. The tomatoes are the main star and they are delicious. So sit back, enjoy, and here we go. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start out with some olive oil, get just a medium, or actually a small pan. White onion, tomato, garlic, basil. That's it for this recipe today. So I'm gonna start with the onion. Just white onion. Put it in, I'd say probably, I don't know, 2 teaspoons of olive oil on, medium to low high heat. Okay, salt and pepper, of course. Just a pinch. Love my recipe. Red chili flakes. That elevates it just a little bit. If you don't like heat, or if you're cooking for someone that doesn't like a heat level, you can leave it out. It absolutely doesn't do anything but bring just a level of hot. And if you don't like it, don't use it. It's not going to affect the recipe at all. Italian seasoning. Another one. I'd say maybe a tablespoon of that. I don't measure. I'm not a measurer, and it drives people crazy, but I just don't measure. It's something I don't do. Stir it around a little bit. Let that cook. Now it's gonna take a little while for the onion to cook down because you want it to be nice and soft. So you have a little bit of time for this. And actually you can turn it up just a little bit more. Let that cook down. I discovered this recipe because when you go to an Italian restaurant, you get the bruschetta. I love it, but it's so tomatoey. It's very chunky tomato. I don't like that at all. So there were times when I would just eat the bread. My husband and I went out one night. We went to this Italian restaurant. We got the bruschetta and the sauce came on the side and the bread came separately. And I tried it and oh my gosh, it was like, this is the best thing I've ever eaten. So what I like to do, I do this frequently, is if I eat something that I really, really, really enjoy, I try to go home and figure out how in the heck it was made. So that's what I did. And I thought, I taste onion and garlic, basil, and obviously tomato. So this was created from that. And you know what? Over the years, I have perfected it, and it is just delicious. So we're just letting the onion kind of sweat down a little bit. Okay, so the onion, it's been sweating probably 5 to 10 minutes. You really want to get it cooking down because it does take a while for onion to cook. So now we're ready to add the tomato. My favorite part. Okay, this is probably a little over a cup of tomatoes. Now what we do is we get the cherry tomatoes, the little cherubs, get those, and I have them quartered. Because to me, I feel like it helps them to melt down a little bit more. I don't know, the whole tomatoes, I really don't like that. Only whole tomatoes are really good if you roast them. But I think this actually makes a perfect dish. Okay, salt and pepper, always salt and pepper every layer. I know some of you may know that, some of you may not. Always salt and pepper everything that you add into the pot. And then we're gonna let this do the same thing as we did the onion. We're just gonna kind of sweat them out a little bit. Mix them in there. You'd be surprised, for as much tomato that's in here, the flavor at the end of this is just an amazing taste. And for you not tomato lovers, you're gonna be extremely surprised. I promise you. Okay, now we're just gonna let this cook for probably, I'd say at least 5 minutes, because it does take a little while, because tomatoes actually do take a little bit of time to kind of break down. So what we're gonna do is let them cook, and then once they start breaking down, we're gonna start kind of mashing them a little bit, and I'll show you what I mean when they get that soft. Okay, now you see the tomatoes have kind of cooked down a little bit. You can see kind of where the skin is kind of blistered. See that right there? That is becoming perfection. Now we put our third layer in, and that's the garlic. Best part of everything. You can't go wrong with garlic. This is 4 to 5 cloves of garlic. And again, I mean, you know, it depends on your preference, because some people, you know, they like a little bit of garlic. Some people like a lot. Like my husband and I, we could live on garlic cloves. So salt and pepper, again, another layer. So I mean, it is kind of your preference. I mean, we love garlic, so you can make it more garlic, you can make it less, but you need to put at least 1 clove of garlic in there, or it just will not taste the same. I promise you, because I've had run out of garlic sometimes, and I've used garlic powder. Not the same. Absolutely not the same. So speaking of garlic powder, now this step right here, while you're letting the garlic, and the reason, let me tell you, for those of you that don't know, because some of you may be new to cooking, you put the garlic in last because garlic has a tendency to burn very easily and very quickly. So you want to put that in last, because all the juices are out now from the onion and the tomato, so the garlic will cook slowly and nicely, and it won't burn unless you run out of juice. So whatever you do, just make sure you keep an eye on it. So now you kind of let this just simmer. In the meantime, come with me, we have bread. This is just a French bread roll, okay? Let me show you. This is what that came from. You can get this in stores. This is $1, okay? $1. It's perfection in a bag, but let me warn you, this will go bad quickly. So once you open it and use it, you need to use it within at least 2 days, or it will get moldy. That's the bad thing about it. So be prepared to either make bruschetta or, I don't know, anything that you can think of, because it will go bad. Even if you freeze it, it's just not the same. But it's only $1. I mean, it's $1, and you can do a lot with this, but be prepared for that. All I did was put some butter and garlic powder. Make a little bit of like a garlic bread, if you will. Then I just stick this in the oven at 300, like that. Pop that in, let it sit. Now, this is becoming absolutely wonderful. Okay, about right now, I'm gonna do a tab of butter. Probably half a tablespoon. A little, about 3/4 of a tablespoon. Just kind of let that melt in there. Turn it down a little bit, because once it gets to this point, see how it's bubbling like that? Once it gets to that point, you want to turn it back a little bit and just let it simmer. Okay? Look at that. You can see it's like a golden color. Oh, this is gonna be so good. Okay, so this is almost ready. Look at that. And that is crazy. I don't like tomatoes, and to me, this is actually a gorgeous thing. So now, our final step, basil. Ooh-wee. If you don't like basil, if you've never tried basil, it is amazing. So I have 3 basil leaves here, okay? And what I'm gonna do is roll them up. You want to be really gentle with basil, because it is pretty delicate and you can bruise it pretty easily. So you want to be really gentle. So I just roll it up and I chiffonade it. Just kind of make little strips. If you see here, I have Audrey Hepburn. She's taking care of my basil for me. Audrey's a good girl. We're buddies. Okay, see? Just like that. It's like little ribbons. It's really pretty. Oh my God, it's so fragrant. Basil is one of those that we could have a tree in our house and we would walk by it every day and just smell it. Just kind of put that in there. Now this, you don't need the salt and pepper. Okay, and we're just gonna kind of fold down. I'm gonna actually turn the heat off and take it off the heat. Okay. The basil just elevates this dish just beyond anything. I don't know anybody that wouldn't love basil. I know a lot of people that don't like cilantro. That's a very selective thing, which I love cilantro, but a lot of people don't. But basil, I just don't know how you wouldn't. It's kind of if you haven't tried it, it's kind of sweet. And actually, I've made a drink with basil that I'm gonna put on my YouTube channel one of these days. And it has basil in it, and it almost tastes, my husband actually said that he thought it tasted like mint. He said, do you put mint? Like, no, it's basil, because it is really, really sweet. It's a very surprising herb, I guess is what it is. And I don't know, it's amazing. And I put it in a lot of dishes. I can't live without it. Okay, there we go, look at that. Look at that gorgeousness, okay? Now, I'm gonna take this, actually, follow me. Okay, just put it in a little bowl. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's crazy at how much I absolutely love this dish. Now, tomatoes are actually, I mean, they have a health benefit, and unfortunately, I have just never, ever liked tomatoes. That's just who I am. My mom loves tomatoes. My sister, my husband, my dad, everybody loves tomatoes. Ugh. Okay, bread has been in here probably about 3 to 5 minutes baking. So now I'm gonna take it out. Look at that. You want it just crispy enough, but you don't want it to be overcooked, because you can overcook the bread and it gets too hard. That's what she said. Okay. And you know, I'm an entertainer by heart, so let's take these out. Put them on here. This, you know, this is one of those things that you can make parties, anything. If it's just you, this is perfect. If it's family coming over, friends coming over, and you say, oh man, what am I gonna make? This is a perfect little dish. I mean, look at that, and it's perfect. All right, here we go. Oh, by the way, French bread, make it really thin, okay? I do know that when we go to restaurants, you know, they make it, it's pretty thick and yeah, it's almost like you can't, it's not a mouthful. I mean, it's too much of a mouthful. This is a perfect size. Yeah. And this is what we do. I mean, I don't put it on there. I don't, you know, like you do in restaurants. This is what I do. We dip it. So good. I will say, it's very sweet. It's a very, very sweet dish. I'm telling you, for all of you tomato haters out there, I want you to try this. Try this recipe. I'm gonna link it in the description box below. And I want you to try it and tell me if it's good. And tell me that you can't tell it's tomato. I don't taste tomato at all. I taste basil, I taste garlic, and I taste the red pepper flakes. It is amazing. So, thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to this channel, like this video, and we together are gonna make more meals and more drinks that are gonna blow your mind. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.